So one day I just couldn't get out of bed. I was awake, sort of. I was kind of conscious, I suppose. But I couldn't physically move my body. And my girlfriend started pushing me, saying, Daniel, you need to get up now. You need to get out of bed. The children need to go to school. And I might have mumbled something, but I couldn't speak. I just lay there, unable to move, unable to communicate. And the children came in and said, we need to go to school. And I just lay there. And eventually my then girlfriend, she got them to school and left me lying in bed. I didn't get up until, I don't know, 2:30 in the afternoon. And as I got up, I was in a daze, disconnected from reality, from life, from where I was. Stumbling out of a bedroom, I wasn't able to communicate anymore. I would start trying to say a sentence, I would kind of stumble out of it, and after 2 words, I'd just go silent because I had forgotten what I was going to say. Instead, I'd be just standing there staring at a wall or just looking out into empty space. And then all of a sudden someone would drop a fork and I would go into rage, explode. And those were my only 2 modes in the very beginning. Apathy or rage. But I couldn't speak. It took me a long time to piece a sentence together with the help of someone else. I would just get lost. And eventually, of course, I got to a doctor and got the diagnosis, burnout. Burnout. But that doctor didn't know very much about burnout at all, so he sent me to a therapist. And the therapist couldn't really get much out of me, could she? But she did get me to do a depression test, and that was quite hard because I couldn't read. I couldn't speak, but I couldn't read, I couldn't write. But when we did get that depression test done, I had scored a 35 out of 36. The only thing that I hadn't crossed off from the list was I wasn't actively planning suicide. But I didn't want to exist. And the very first thing that I needed to start working on was setting boundaries. Boundaries for myself, boundaries for others. I realized that I'd been really bad at setting healthy boundaries. I've just let myself be used in different ways. And yeah, that's where it began. That's where it began. The first couple of weeks after a month, I don't really remember, it's all a haze. But that's where it began. But that's the thing about burnout. There's so many layers. So many layers to it. In the end, it took me 6 years to heal. But that is from someone that is really dedicated to doing the healing work. From someone who is dedicated to healing and throws himself into doing the work. It took me 6 years. So many layers. So many different parts that needed to be addressed. Now I'll talk more about some of those in later episodes, but I wanted to say something about my life mantra first. A couple of years into my burnout, my girlfriend had left me. I mean, it was impossible to live with me at all. I was dead. Eventually I did get proper help from the psychiatry, but it was a long way to walk. And the first year or years, I didn't touch entheogens at all because I was just afraid that I would go off the deep end and drown. So I didn't do entheogens. But coming up on year 2, I really had the feeling that now is the time. So I went to a Swedish Liberty camp and I took a massive dose. I don't know, it was like 6-7 grams. And they're much stronger than cubensis, so I think that would be more approximately like 10 grams of cubensis. And that journey was just so divine. It was divine intervention in my life. I begged the mushroom for help. I begged for mercy. I begged for a way forward. How do I get out of this? And it was really, really clear. It explained to me my life mantra. I had been saying the same life mantra for 10, close to 15 years. My passion in life is personal and spiritual development. I'd said that so many times and to so many people. I had said it to myself thousands of times. But what I didn't say out loud was what was between the words, between the letters of that mantra. I will do anything for maximal personal and spiritual development. Maximal personal and spiritual development. I will do anything. And let me tell you, if you look back on your life, I suppose your life is similar in that way. If you look back on your life and think about the most life-changing events, the ones where you have actually grown the most as a human being, they're not the happiest events. They're not the events that you remember with a smile. Often, you might have some of those also, I hope you do. But most of the events that really shape us as human beings, that let us grow the most, that let us really become strong in our convictions and get the most insight, they're life-shattering events. They're when the ground beneath our feet just disappears and we fall. They're traumatic upheavals. And I had been telling the universe for close to 15 years, give me maximum personal development. And I had already been through hell. But now it delivered. Okay, you want maximum development? Here's burnout. Let's see how you handle this. And the mushroom took me by the hand. And the space that I was in, I was traveling alone, the space that I was in was kind of divided up into sections or parts. And in every part there was a relationship. My parents, my children, loves, friends, and I could walk or stumble, I suppose, between these relationships in that space, and I could speak to them all. They were there. I could speak to them, talk about myself, talk about them, our relationship to each other. And it was the most meaningful experience. And the mushroom made it so clear for me how I needed to shift my life mantra and no longer tell myself maximal personal and spiritual development, but instead focus on something new. Love, relationship, and cooperation in all the ways that they can reveal themselves. Love, relationship, cooperation. This is your new life mantra. Now, up until that point, I had been totally focused on my inner healing, my journey. And I had become an expert at it. I was already an expert at it without realizing it. But now the mushroom told me it's time to step out and start interacting with other people in a more meaningful and a deeper way than you have ever done. After having turned myself inside out for 15 years, I was an expert at doing that kind of work. I'm fearless when it comes to meeting what hurts within, what is uncomfortable, the kind of stuff that sends other people running. Now I stepped into love, relationship and cooperation, and all of a sudden I realized that I'm a total newbie again. I know absolutely nothing about this. That evening with the mushroom, there was one relation that I saw so clearly. And since I started working with entheogens, since I healed from alcoholism, I have always had premonitions when a new important love relation is on its way into my life. And I was there with her. And I saw her coming. I couldn't see her face, I couldn't see her body, but I could see her coming to me. And as always with these premonitions, I always mistake who it is, because I don't see them in their physical body. I sense them. And in September of that year, she did arrive. She did arrive. That journey with the mushroom was one of my most meaningful. It really set me on track to not only heal from burnout, but heal all those layers that needed to be healed in order to heal burnout. And that session, most of it was inside, me walking between these relations. But at the very end, it led me outside. And I looked up at the stars, and it was just such a clear night. And the stars were so clear. And I became early man, early human, just looking up at the stars and being in awe of the night sky. And again I lost my language, but I lost it to I could feel my roots all the way back to early hominoid, all the way back through lives, numerous lives, all the way back.